What's good, Stopde Nation? It is time for some more matchups. Now, last week did not really go the best for us. We'll go back into our last week's matchup, and it went well. But it was so close to that 4-4. We got 3 of them right. We only mixed up on the Juventus one. Juventus ended up getting the win. We picked Juventus to get the win. They ended up getting the draw against Inter. And really, this is what happens every time with Juventus. The first time we thought that Napoli was going to draw with them, and despite Napoli controlling the game, Juventus still won it. And in this game, Juventus, even though they had a whole lot of more shots on net, they still didn't end up getting out that victory. They couldn't put one in the net. So we've kind of been, I'm a little happy there's no more Juventus in this week, because every time we have a Juventus match, it just doesn't really go our way when we try and pick it. We picked Toronto FC, obviously their big win there in the MLS Cup, and then we picked the Ajax one, a huge win for Ajax right there against PSV, and then the final one we had Manchester City beating Manchester United in that match there. So week 7 is up. It is the 7th week of matches. We're hoping that this will be the week that we can actually get all 4 right, but this is going to be a tough week of matchups. It is honestly, in most of these matchups, so close to call. The chances that it's going to be a draw are probably like just as likely as a lucky bounce going one way or the other. Most teams are in very similar form, very similar results against either similar teams that they've played, or even in some cases actually played each other and drew. So a lucky bounce one way or the other could change the score in any of these games. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% confident in any of these, these picks this week, as I have been maybe in some of the in last week and stuff like that. So our player for this week, a very, very pacey left mid card right here. 106 sprint, 101 acceleration, 100 dribbling, so he can do the rainbow flick. A very good card. Start off with the speed boost as well. Can do sprint speed, dribbling, all of those things. So definitely a card you're going to want to pick up and have on your team. So we're hoping we're going to get some good picks. We're hoping we're going to get them right. Let's see how we do in this week's predictions. The only one where I'm really feeling that I think it's definitely going to happen is the first match here with Napoli. I do think that Napoli is going to come out with a big win, though they've been a little bit inconsistent lately in terms of wins, draws, losses, those things. They've controlled almost all of the games, even the ones that they haven't played. So even when they lost to Juventus, they still controlled the game, and I think they just have too much attacking power for Torino, and I think that they are going to come up with the win. So Napoli is my choice for the first match. I think that they are going to get the win and get us our first match result. Here we go. So the next matchup, we got Lyon and Marseille. Now, this was another one that I was really interested in kind of looking at some of the background and some of these ones in it, because Marseille has had some very, good matches. They got a draw against Paris Saint-Germain. They've played well in some matches, especially where it really counts. Now, it is a very, very close race here to try and track down, PSG, get the second place in the league. So both teams have, just as much on the table with this match, so both teams definitely going to be coming in it. And both teams not having maybe necessarily the best previous game, coming off with Marseille getting that tough loss in PKs, and then Lyon losing their match as well. So I'm interested to know. Who's going to pull out, the victory in this one. My thought, though, with this one is this probably will end up being a draw. Just because, both teams are sort of coming off of tough things. They're maybe not in full form, either team, but they've both had some very similar results against similar teams in the past little while as well. So I couldn't find much to separate the team on paper. Obviously you have the home and away situation that could have some effect on it, but I really think that this one is going to be a draw. I think both teams are going to be playing, try and get a win. There may be a few goals, maybe like a 2-2 game or a 1-1 kind of game sort of thing, but I can't really see one team pulling something over on the other team in this one. So this one, I am going with the draw in this match. So for match number 2, I'm predicting draw. Alright, so there you go. We're predicting the draw in that one. If I had to pick a team to win it, I'd probably go with Lyon there, because, they have some... If Depay is playing well, they'll probably get some good goals, and they'll probably get the victory. Alright, so we're on to the third match now. So the third match, we have Anderlecht and Bruges playing. Now, this is a very interesting one, because in this one, they've actually played each other already this season, and they drew already. So this is one of those ones where the draw does seem like it could be a likely thing to happen. Both teams, playing pretty similar actually to each other as of late. Now, Bruges has the advantage that they're at home this time. They've been a little bit better in form lately. They're at the top of the table. They're playing well. They're getting all these things. So that was where I would kind of give them the slight edge. But at the same time, I think this is one of those situations where maybe they'll step off the gas a little bit, thinking they're kind of clear in this, maybe not come out at full force, and then get one of those quick goals by them at the start that makes it hard to come back on, because I think that Anderlecht is one of those teams that can really hold them if they can get a quick early goal in them. So part of me wants to go with draw. Part of me wants to go with Bruges. Part of me is like, any one of these things could happen. This is pretty much a flip of the coin, lucky bounce one way or the other. A lot of these games have resulted in a draw for these teams, but I'm going to risk it a little bit this week. So I don't know if I would necessarily go 100% with me on this one, but I'm actually gonna go in this case, and I'm gonna say that based on the fact that they drew before and some actually fairly decent performances against similar teams for the Anderlecht team, I actually think that they are gonna come out and they're gonna get the surprise victory in this match. So I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna pick this. I also just don't want to pick every match being a draw, like the first week when we had matchups when everyone was a draw. So this one is probably one of those controversial calls on that one, but we'll see what happens at the end of the week. I really hope this isn't like the one match that I get wrong that makes it so we're like, hey, wow, we should have done this, but I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to him. I think the fact that they just have a little bit more to kind of gain to close that gap on it is going to be that difference maker for them in this match. So here we go. We're going to pick this up. We get 2 of 3 goals. Nice goal right there. And our final goal to seal this as our choice is going to come now. There's no turning back now. Goal 4 goes in. We are picking them to win this match. All right, so we got our final match here. We got Aston Villa and Derby in the next match. This one, again, another very close contention. Both teams in very similar form, getting very similar scores against, you know, the same opponents when they're playing them, those kind of things. This one is another very tough match that's kind of hard to decide who's going to win in this match. I've seen a lot of people going to Derby saying that they are kind of in more form to get the win. I've seen Aston Villa, a lot of people thinking that they are going to get the win in this one, and I think I'm going to go against both of those in this one, and I am going to go with a draw in this match. So I think based on, again, the fact that both teams have gotten playing like very similar as of late, those kind of things, this is going to be another match that ends up in a draw. So there's our matches, there's our predictions, our 4 predictions. 2 of them were picking draws this week, so we're risking it a little bit on there, obviously. But anyways, let me know who it is that you pick in these matches. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to be a draw? Those kind of things. Let me know in the comments below all your predictions, and we'll see what happens next week when we come back to more matchups.